What's up, Dub Nation? Welcome back to the DubsIn4 Podcast. This is episode 20. Today is December 2nd, 2018, and we're still wrapping up the Warriors week this past week. So, as per usual, we're just going to be going over their games that they've played this week, what's up on the dock for next week, and just some other miscellaneous news and notes from the team and from around the NBA this week so far. So, we're just going to get right into it with the wrap-up for this week. So since last Sunday, they have played 3 games. They had the Magic at home on Monday, and then went on the road to face the Raptors and the Pistons. So first of all, on Monday, they played the Magic and won 116-110 in a game that was a pretty huge comeback for Golden State. The Warriors were down quite a bit going at halftime. The second quarter kind of got away from them. They started pulling it back in the third and the fourth, and eventually they took the win there with Kevin Durant scoring 49 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. Klay Thompson chipping in with 29 as well. Really, none of the other Warriors had anything going, but with 49 and 29 from KD and Klay, you should be fine. That was the beginning of a huge stretch for KD. The last 3 games he scored. Well, I don't know if that was the beginning. Did he have a good game before that against the? Yeah, I think against the Kings too. What did he get? Yeah, 44. So he scored over 40 in 3 games in a row against the Kings, Magic, and then in the Raptors game. But yeah, Warriors took a win there. Nice comeback over the Magic at home to close out their long kind of homestand there. They're now on the road for 5 games, but they'll be back pretty soon. They've already played 2 of them, so that was nice to get a win there, get a little momentum heading into the road trip. So that was good. Unfortunately, the momentum didn't last too long because they went up to Toronto and played the Raptors. Raptors have the best record in the NBA right now. They're a very, very good team. Probably the finals favorite in the East. And the Warriors went in there without Steph Curry or Draymond Green. Wasn't expecting too much from this game. I mean, without 2 of your 4 All-Stars, it's always going to be a struggle, especially against a team like the Raptors. They're very good on the road. And then KD kind of went off and kept the Warriors in the game. Unfortunately, it didn't end in a W. It was 128-131 in overtime. So Warriors lose by 3. KD with 51 points hit 2 super clutch threes at the end of regulation to even get it to overtime in the first place. One crazy corner one, and then before that he had another one to put them only down 3. They were down 6 with like 50-something seconds left, and they were able to force OT behind some clutch play from Kevin Durant. So that was really nice to see. Klay Thompson chipped in with 23. Jerebko had a nice game with 20 points, 9 boards, and 3 assists. As you do. There's really not much. I wasn't really too upset about this game. Like, yes, it's tough that it was a close loss, but it's still nice to see them playing well against a team without Steph Curry and Draymond Green. It's nice to see them playing well against probably their biggest competition right now, I would think. Right now, the Raptors have the best record in the NBA. I would not be surprised if they are probably the best team in the league outside of Golden State. With the Rockets struggling the way that they are, the Celtics haven't been super good, so the Raptors are definitely probably the biggest threat to the Warriors right now based on what we've seen from the first little bit of the season here. So, the Raptors are quite good. I wasn't too upset about this one. It would have been nice to come out with the win there, but they couldn't get it done. But that's okay because we have Steph back now. Unfortunately, again, played the Pistons yesterday, took a loss 102-111. Just a pretty poorly played game all around. Steph Curry came back, had a nice game with 27 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. KD chipped in with 28, 6 and 7. Klay Thompson also 21, 8 and 1. So, nice game from their big 3 scorers there. But they couldn't really do much else. The rest of the team struggled to find a rhythm. They didn't really do much from 3. Steve Kerr mentioned after the game that he felt like it was one of his worst performances as a coach, and I would have to agree with that. Just didn't look like they were running anything super, they weren't really running any great plays. They just looked, like tired and slow out there. A lot of bad turnovers, just throwing the ball away. For like 3 or 4 trips in a row down the court, they would just try to pass and get it stolen. It just was not a great game by realistically anybody. Like, yeah, Steph and KD both scored, 28 and 27, which is, you can't get mad at that. But, the turnover numbers, they weren't really great. Here, let me just take a look here at the turnover numbers. In the meantime, while I pull that up, unfortunately, Damian Jones suffered an injury in this one, and it was confirmed to be a torn left pectoral muscle. And we'll get into that in a minute, but that could potentially end his season. We're unsure of the exact prognosis for it. They said that he's seeing a specialist on Tuesday, I believe, it's honestly not great news. He left the game late in the third quarter, did not return. I don't know. I'm not super happy about that. Unfortunately, it's looking like he may be out for the year. If not, he'll be back, quite late in the season. And at that point, who knows what will be going on. I'm sure the Warriors will still be playing, playoffs and everything, but we don't know if he's going to be in game shape, if they're going to want to insert him into the rotation that late in the playoff run. If he's going to be ready with his young talent, if he's, how does he handle coming back from an injury, if he'll be the same, stuff like that. It's just tough to tell. But that one's okay. I have the turnover numbers here. Steph Curry had 7 turnovers. That's not great. KD with only 2. Iguodala had 2, but they were both pretty bad ones. Clay with only 1. The biggest problem was Steph's 7 turnovers. That's usually not what you see from him. Steph usually takes care of the ball pretty well. You could tell he was a little bit rusty out there. He hasn't played for about 3 weeks. So, that showed a little bit too. You could see, and it makes sense. Without playing, a real game of basketball for a while, it kind of gets away from you while everybody else is, in game shape there. That wasn't a super great game from them on Saturday. It's okay. It won't matter in the long run. But that was kind of a disappointing one. Wasn't too happy with that. Anyway, moving on to this week, they have 3 games coming up this week to finish out their road trip. Fortunately, the next 2 are against probably the worst 2 teams in the league, I would say. They have the Hawks tomorrow night on Monday. These 2 teams are the Hawks are 5-18, the Cavs are 4-18. So they're both bottom teams in the league, basement teams. Hawks tomorrow at 5:30 on the road. Road games are never a gimme, but this is as close as you can get. Hawks are not that great. Warriors with Steph Curry back. Steph always seems to play well against Atlanta too. That's something that I've just noticed. I don't have any numbers to back that up, but based on everything I can remember, he always goes off against the Hawks. So we'll see what happens there if Curry's able to get one of those games again. They should have everybody back. Draymond, unfortunately, his toe is still lingering. They said that will keep him out through the remainder of this road trip. So Draymond will not play this week, looks like. Alfonso McKinney, though, looks like he will return Wednesday against the Cavs at Quicken Loans Arena. Finals rematch, anybody? No, I'm just kidding. Without LeBron, the Cavs aren't that great. So the Warriors should be able to get that one done there. And the Cavs also don't have Kevin Love. They haven't for, a couple weeks now, which sucks for my fantasy team. But regardless, it doesn't really matter too much. The Cavs are terrible anyway. They said he will probably return in the new year. Sometime in January, they'll get K-Love back. But that's not for a while, so. Warriors at Cavs. That one, we'll just have to see. It'll be interesting to see Colin Sexton, how he's doing over there, rookie point guard. As well as, Rodney Hood, J.R. Smith. I don't think J.R. is playing, though. They're holding him out, see if they can find a trade for him. Realistically, though, I don't see any team wanting to take on his contract. That one's an interesting situation with J.R. Smith because he's getting paid so much money. And for the Cavs to find a team that would take that contract on, they'd probably have to take something back that's even worse. That there's no really incentive for them to trade him because they're just trying to lose anyway. So they can just keep him on the team. He really has no leverage here for them to trade him away. Like, he can sit out all he wants. They don't really care. And with the kind of money that he's getting paid, they would have to, attach a draft pick or an asset to that contract to move it. And it's honestly not worth it when it's expiring at the end of this year. I don't really know how that one's going to shake out. But J.R. Smith might just be stuck in Cleveland. I don't really think anybody wants him. So... let me just check when his contract is actually up. I'm pretty sure it is after this season. Anyway. We get the Cavs on Wednesday, and then on Friday, play the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks are also, they're a surprising team. They've played well, and that was the game a couple weeks ago. The Warriors got absolutely destroyed, and Steph Curry got injured in that one too, so that wasn't great. Hopefully they'll be able to do a little bit better this time around, but it's on the road, so not really sure how that's going to go. But the Warriors will be, close to full strength. They won't have Draymond, but they'll get McKinney back by that point. No Damian Jones though. We'll see how they do at center. But the Bucks don't really have any amazing centers anyway. They have Brook Lopez, but he's never been a rebounder. He's just going to launch from outside. So, not really sure on that one. Hopefully the Bucks game will be good. Again, we'll just have to see how that goes. So, let's talk about their options for the center position now that Damian Jones has I lied to you. J.R. Smith's contract has 2 years left on it. He has this season and next season. Yikes. That's even worse then. There's no way they're going to trade him. I mean, who's going to take that money for this year and next year? That's for a player that's not going to give you much. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Damian Jones now. I watched a little clip of Steve Kerr today talking about how they're going to assess their options at the center position now with that injury. But he did say that Jones will be out. It's going to be months. Could potentially mean his season is over. So they might want to look at fortifying that center position a little bit. They do have two young bigs, Looney and Bell, neither of which are really true centers. They also have Jonas Jerebko, who's capable of playing center, but they're not going to start him there, obviously. I'm assuming that they will start Looney in the meantime. That would make the most sense to me, considering he has the most height. He does play center quite often. I don't think they're going to start Jordan Bell. He's probably too small for them to start him at center, but he will be able to pick up a couple minutes off the bench there. In the meantime, at least while we wait for DeMarcus, because he will be back hopefully after Christmas. They said that he's targeting his return for around Christmas time. So that's creeping up on us here. That's in about 3 weeks. We could potentially have Boogie back on the court in 3 weeks. But in the meantime, they're gonna need somebody to fill that void at center. They do have that extra spot open on the roster. They're bringing up Marcus Derrickson from the G League. They said, they're gonna bring Marcus Derrickson up for the rest of the road trip. So he'll be able to come. He plays power forward. Maybe he can play a little bit of center. Not really sure on that. Haven't seen him do too much yet, but he might be able to get an opportunity to pick up a couple more minutes there. Damian Lee, the other two-way player, has also been playing well, so we'll have to see how Derrickson goes. But hopefully they can sneak him some minutes in these next couple games, depending on how they go. If they get up by a lot, then they can stick him in at the end there. Or maybe even, play him in the rotation. They'll have to see what Steve Kerr decides to do with that one. But we do have Derrickson. Unfortunately, I don't really see a lot of centers on the open market. I did take a look at the free agent tracker, and there's really not a ton of options here. Tarek Black is a free agent, but he's not that good. Nick Collison retired. Jack Cooley, no idea who that is. Matt Costello, no idea. Joffrey Laverne signed in Europe. Jordan Mickey sucks. Joakim Noah signed with the Grizzlies. Lucas Nogueira is okay, but I think he's in Brazil, and I doubt they'd bring him in. Kendrick Perkins is old and trash. Marshall Plumlee is okay, but I think he's restricted. I'm not sure what that would be. I don't know if they would bring in Marshall Plumlee. I doubt it. Mo Spates is still available. I think he's in China, though. I don't know if they could potentially get him off that contract, but he's kind of old. What is he, 31, 32 now, maybe? But yeah, Mo Buckets. I don't know. Would they consider bringing back Mo Buckets if he would agree to it? I'm sure he's on an expensive deal in China, though. I don't know if he would come back, or if he could even get out of that deal. But maybe they'll put in a call. I don't know. See what they can do. But yeah, other than that, there's not really a ton of options. The only ones out of these that I think they would even consider would be Mo Spites, maybe Lucas Nogueira, Joffrey Laverne if they can get him, but I doubt he can get out of his contract in Europe. Tarek Black is okay, but I doubt they'd call him either. So I don't really know. Maybe there's some undrafted rookies that they could take a look at. I doubt they'd do anything on the trade market. I don't think they'd want to give up anybody that they have. You know, all the players on the roster are kind of staples. Like, they're not going to trade. Obviously, they're not going to trade any All-Stars. They're not going to trade Livingston, Iguodala, Jerebko's safe. Looney and Bell are safe. I don't know, Jacob Evans maybe, but he's not really worth anything. And no team is going to give up, a third string center for Jacob Evans. He's not really worth anything, I don't know. I doubt they'd try to move him either. It's too early on in his development to make a judgment on anything for him, so I don't know. Realistically, there's nobody on the roster that they could trade to make anything happen. So their only option is on the buyout market, free agency pool. Would have been nice to have Tyson Chandler, now that I think about it. A couple weeks ago, there was reports that he chose the Lakers over the Warriors, and I didn't buy it at the time because I honestly didn't think that the Warriors wanted Tyson Chandler. He's 35 now. Looked like they were doing fine at center. I didn't really buy that they called him, but now I would like to have Tyson Chandler on the team at this point. Now that we're thin in those big man minutes, would have been nice to have JaVale back too, but unfortunately he's in LA. Who else? Zaza's gone. I don't really know who else is maybe on the buyout market. We'll just have to see how that crops up, as time continues. But I don't really know what. I mean, maybe they can get somebody after a trade happens and a buyout goes through. But there's really nobody on the market that they would want right now. So that's kind of unfortunate. I could see them bringing in like an undrafted rookie, but then again, all their centers are young guys, and Damian Jones had a lack of experience, and Looney's getting better, but he still does, and so does Bell. So, I don't know. Just the moral of the story is hurry up, DeMarcus. It's kind of become a little bit more urgent that he comes back now. I think Looney will be fine in the meantime. Looney is good enough to start. Honestly, I thought he should be starting over Jones so far. Looney's been playing really well this season, actually. He's made a lot of, clutch plays. But we will just have to see how this situation develops. With only Jordan Bell as the backup, I guess we could see them playing Jerebko at center a little more. We could use Draymond back for sure. Every day it gets kind of more like, where's Draymond? His toe is still bugging him, which is unfortunate. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say about that. Just hopefully we get Boogie back soon. But Steve Kerr did say, it did seem like they wanted to at least try to bring in somebody. He said he would have a talk with Bob Myers and see what they want to do. But it seems like they're definitely at least considering bringing in some help at center, this is one of the reasons they left an open spot on the roster in case something like this were to happen. They wanted to bring somebody in. They're going to fill it eventually, so there will be another Warrior on the roster at some point this season. If it's now or if it's not until like right before the playoffs, whatever. But it's going to happen at some point. So we'll just have to see who that ends up being. If it's if it's an undrafted rookie, if it's Patrick McCaw, if it's somebody off the buyout market, or they somehow swing a trade, send a draft pick for someone. I guess that's the really only thing they could offer, because I don't think they would want to include any players. So if they had a draft pick and just traded for somebody on a minimum deal, that would really be the only way. Like, give a second round pick for somebody's backup center. I'm not really sure. I'll have to do some research on that and see what team would be willing to maybe give up, if they have a ton of depth at that spot, if they would be willing to give up somebody for a draft pick. But that's neither here nor there. I think that's going to be pretty much it for this week. Not much else happened other than, we got Steph Curry back, but only for one game. We'll have to see how he plays this week. But yeah, MVP Curry season, here we go. And also Kevin Durant is really good with like 3 40-point games in a row, had a 50-point game. Yeah, he's freaking amazing. Anyway, that's going to be it for this week. This has been episode 20. It's been crazy. Again, like, I don't really think anybody watches this, but it's just good for me to get this kind of experience under my belt. As the weeks go on, I'm getting more and more committed to having this as my career. I really do think I want to do sports commentary, so become a sports analyst, so that would be really cool. Anyway, that's going to be it from me. I'll see you guys next week.